remember that one.
Stand by. 10 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Put the book down.
Oh shit! Hello, hello. Sorry, just catching up.
You need to practice your acting more.
Huh?
You need to practice acting more. It's not convincing.
Your acting's not good. Yes, I thought wicked.
Okay.
And
Have you started reading it yet? No, honestly, have you read it? Have you started reading it yet?
Sort of.
Right. Now, the only reason I ask is that I saw part of Dominic Noble, who I don't follow as much as I used to, actually reviewing the book, and something he was saying about how it starts, about what the background story are being certain. Well, should we say certainly not Disney friendly? So I don't know. And I say this is literally going on what he was, what this chap was saying. So I wondered if you'd started reading it. Yeah, if there are some less than child friendly elements to where Greenskin came from.
All I can say about this is that, you know,
I'm not sure. I'm not got a copy of it somewhere.
The original book, right, was completely different to what they've done here. Right? So since the film's come out, they had to like put the film cover on it.
Yeah, they usually do. Don't they, I think, with these things.
And sometimes I find it a bit ridiculous when the film overtakes the actual book. It kind of ruins the cover.
Yeah, and amongst things, don't forget, of course, the as I recall, the film is only the first part of the book.
Ah, right.
What they've done what they did with Harry Potter book 8, what they did with the last Hunger Games book, they've split into two parts. Yeah. Even though the show apparently is about the length of the film,
right?
And it's the whole thing.
Okay. I've got to tell you, I read on the Daily Rag the other day, which is funny as hell. Now you got Wicked, the stage musical.
Yeah.
People went to see it, right? The stage musical, and then they walked out before the second part came on because they didn't want to be spoiled. Because they get to see the second film, so they walked out.
I know.
Yeah, and you just think to yourself, are you there to see a show, or are you there to see the show because you saw the film?
I can kind of see that. I mean, it's an odd way to do it. You know, if you're going to do. Well, my other question would be: did they actually film the two parts of the play back to back?
Yes.
So is the second part of the film in the can?
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, it doesn't appeal to me in the least. But I've seen several people say they've seen it and that the film, and they quite like the film.
Mm-hmm.
The opinion seems to be, the received opinion seems to be that if you like musical theatre, or if you like musical theatre, and especially if you are a fan of the play, you will like the film. So it seems to be one of those ones where, fortunately for those people for whom it's interesting, it seems to be one of those times where the film is totally separated from the idiotic antics of its stars.
Yes.
You know, where if you ignore the publicity, if you watch publicity for a lot of these things, Captain African American, for example, you're going to get probably going to get a very negative opinion of the thing before you go in. And the distinct possibility it's probably going to be quite with some of these things. But apparently with this one, from what the reviews I've seen of it, I feel like people I think a couple of the guys on Mr. Brown's Alliance watched it, for example, and they liked it, they enjoyed it. Some of them are, but because they've enjoyed it for what it is. But especially if you're musical theatre, or the film apparently is not. It's a good representation of musicals. So if you like musicals, then there's a distinct possibility you'll like it.
Well, okay. You've got some films out there that have been adapted into musicals, right?
Yeah, I mean, whereas this one is a film of a musical, yeah.
This one's the other way round.
No, it's a film of a musical. It is a
film of a musical, but you got some films that have been adapted into musicals.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. What I'm saying, it is a film which was a musical from the start, and it's a film of a musical rather than a musical. You got some films like that, and you got some films such as anything from West Side Story, I think, was a play. The Sound of Music, for example, is a musical, and it was conceived as a musical. And then what's that other thing that came out recently? Oh God, I know the one. Yeah, there's this one that's been nominated for some ridiculous number of Oscars. This thing about a Mexican or some similar mafia boss who becomes transgender, and apparently there's music in that. There's lots of musicals in that, but then again, apparently can be moving in the first place.
Okay, right. Wicked has been playing at the Victoria Apollo for such a long time, right? Since 2006.
Wow.
And it's still going strong.
Yeah. I mean, it's clearly, that's probably one of the reasons they did it. It's clearly a very popular musical.
Yeah. And another thing is it'll celebrate 20 years next year.
Yeah. I mean, it's clearly a very popular musical.
Yes.
Which is great.
But what I'm trying to say is that if you're going to see a musical, you're going to see a musical, right? You don't need to walk out half through the interval because you haven't seen the second part of the film yet. It's absolutely stupid.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean,
also it's a wasted ticket. Because
it is.
You know how much a ticket for Wicked costs?
I have no idea, but you're right. It strikes me. I mean, it's not something that happens very often. I mean, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go and see Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, but I'm not going to see Part 2 till I finish reading the book.
Yeah.
But it's weird because there's I doubt there are that many films which are films of stage plays.
I know.
Based on the same things, etc., yeah, maybe. But I mean, you go and see a Shakespeare play, for example. You see, you go to Henry V as an example at the theatre. If you've seen, you know it. If you've seen one of the Henry V movies, you know it.
Yeah.
But it's different source material.
Okay. I'm
but
looking at
even that sort of thing is, I mean,
I know.
it's not going to be. It's very odd if you make a film based on something, and you then split the film. You make two films out of the one, even when the one is available elsewhere. It's different from making. It's different from making a book.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. Well, I'm going to say this is that a ticket to see Wicked, right? The lowest, if you book them well in advance, is about £39.50 British pounds, right?
All right.
But if you want the highest, about £169. So if you've gone to see Wicked, right, and walked out halfway, it means you've just wasted half of £169.
If you're going to go and see Wicked, and if you're going to go and see any play and you walk out halfway through,
yeah,
why have you gone to see the play in the first place?
I know.
You know, I genuinely don't understand that, unless for something. I was going to say, unless you've seen the film, and you say, "Oh, I like this. I'll go and see the play," and you get to the interval, and maybe you don't understand how theatre works. You don't understand it's in the interval, and I don't know, and I don't even know. Is there an interval in the middle of it? I don't know. And you say, "Okay, well, this is far the film went. Okay, I'm not going to bother the rest of it." But how can you not know? I would have thought it's reasonably well known now that if you've seen the film, the film must finish in such a way to make it clear that there's a second part of the story to come. Because obviously, the film can't have told the whole story.
Yeah,
which must be obvious. So it must be obvious. I would have thought if you've watched the film that the film's got a second part to come. So why would you then go and watch the play that it's based on? I mean, I can't quite understand. I suppose given the experience, I can't quite say, well, I've seen the film, I'm now going to go and watch the play. Well, I suppose maybe the same as I've seen the film, I'm going to go and read the book, but with the book, there's more likely to be differences and adaptations than from a stage play to a film.
Yeah, but I find it when you got the films that were adapted. Mamma Mia, that's one of them. That was a musical.
Yeah, and it was, but I don't think Mamma Mia was a two-part movie. Mamma Mia was a one-part film.
No, it wasn't.
So I believe there's a sequel, but it's a sequel. But that's what I'm saying. Is there have been a few, but if you're gonna but films based on musicals, I can understand that, because by any metric, a musical must by definition have a limited audience. You're limited to the number of people, the number of seats in that theatre that it's at, because it's only going to be it's probably only going to be at one theatre at a time. And I mean, I would have thought there's probably not. I mean, short of pantomimes, which is a different thing entirely, there's probably not that many plays. I mean, okay, so you might have something this big play, you might have something. I don't know, maybe it's on in Broadway. There's a version on in Broadway and a version in London or something, perhaps. But even then, you're probably not going to get very many plays which are going to be on semi-professionally in more than one or two theatres. So you're limited to the number of seats in that theatre in any one showing. who can see it
Yeah.
at any one time. You're limited to the number, more to the point, you've got a limited pool of people who are going to come and see that anyway. Whereas if you make a film, A, the film is going to be distributed worldwide.
Yeah.
And B, even in any particular country, it's going to be distributed to more than one cinema.
Yeah.
So you've got to, if you put out a film, it's going to have a much bigger audience than a play.
Yeah.
So putting a play out as a film is going to have a much larger audience, but it's going to need it because it's going to cost a lot more money. I mean, the other thing I suppose is also is that with a play, you can go and see the play more than once, and it's not going to be quite the same experience because it's live. Never is, it's not going to be, even if it's the same actors, it's not going to be quite the same experience because it's being done live from people to people, whereas a film, it's what's on film.
Well, well, do you want to know what's the longest running play?
If it's not the Mousetrap, I'll eat. I'll find some hat to eat. It's the Mousetrap. It's always the Mousetrap.
Yeah, been going since 1950.
I've seen the mouse. I think I've seen the Mousetrap.
Yeah, but you won't reveal the identity of the murderer, will you?
I can't. I genuinely can't. It's a very long time ago. I genuinely don't remember. I think I know who it was, but I genuinely don't remember. But I do vaguely remember them saying at the end of it, asking the audience not to reveal his identity so as not to spoil it for other people. But that's all. But, yeah, I know it's the longest running. I know it's the longest running play in the world. And I think it's at the same theatre as well. I do believe. Is it Drury Lane or somewhere it's at?
Yes. It's been at the St Martin's.
St Martin.
Yeah, St Martin's Theatre for such a long time at that, But no, it's how can I spell this? All right, back to musicals. Right? Is Les Miserables a musical? Or is it just an opera?
I think you mean Les Mis.
Yeah,
Les Miserables. It's French. I don't know. I don't actually know if there is a specific difference. I've always thought that a musical is a play or a film where they sometimes break into song. Whereas an opera is they never speak, they only ever sing. An opera is something that's music from start to finish.
Yeah.
Whereas a musical is something, well, as I said, whereas they occasionally or more than occasionally break into song.
Yeah.
If that's a valid definition, I don't know, but that's the way I've always. I'm not technically minded. That's the way I've always thought of them. Is that okay? If they're singing all the time, it's an opera, usually in a foreign language, and apparently, usually, an opera could usually be about a third as long if they didn't repeat every line. Although that may be partly because I think the only opera I've ever actually seen is Bugs Bunny.
Never knew Bugs Bunny did a musical.
They did. They did a Looney Tunes. No, they did. There's an old Looney Tunes where with Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd, and it's done as an opera. Because there's a bit where
I remember that.
Where Elmer finally gets Bugs.
Yeah.
And he goes, I've killed the wabbit. I've killed the wabbit. He put about 5 times he's killed the wabbit. But that's about all I know about opera. It's usually in Italian. So I think it's possibly an Italian art form. It's usually not in English, which is why you need a program's not program. What's the word I'm looking for? To actually keep track with what's going on.
Yeah.
Because it's usually in another language. I suppose if you're Italian, it's you don't need probably you understand it. And the opera's never over till the fat lady sings at the end. Although you're probably not allowed to say that anymore.
Right.
So that's where that saying comes. That's repeatedly where that saying it's never over till the fat lady sings comes from. Is that this partly because in order to be able to sing opera, you have to be quite well built. Not fat, but you have to be quite well built because you have a lot of lung power to sing opera because you're singing, you're projecting.
Yeah.
So you tend to be quite opera. It's especially certain roles they tend to be the Brunhildes and the rest of it. If you think about it, your typical opera character, they tend, I think, to be quite like. As I said, I've never seen an opera in my life, so I said I don't know how true it is, but I don't. But the meaning is that at the end of it, the last bit is usually a big bird singer, a big female singer. It's the last aria or whatever it's called. So how true that is, I have no idea.
Well, I'm going to mention this. Gilbert and Sullivan's A Pirate of Penzance.
Yeah.
Opera or musical?
I think, I don't know. I think they're operas because I think they're musical all the way through, but they're in English, obviously. I don't know. Hold on a second. Do you know what? Did I do one at school? We did Saturdays at school. I can't bloody remember if that's an opera or not. I don't know. As I said, I genuinely don't know what if there is a definition of what specifically is required to be an opera and what makes a musical. I genuinely don't know. I mean, as I said, I think I'm reasonably certain that Gilbert and Sullivan is singing from start to finish, which I would say makes it an opera.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in English. But the only bit I think really remember Gilbert and Sullivan that I know is there's a bit about it, an argument about it in one of the episodes of The West Wing.
Well, they said it's comic opera, really.
Where they're arguing about whether a particular song is from Pirates of Penzance or some other opera of theirs, some other musical of theirs. I don't know. Is it operetta? Is it something called an operetta? Is that sort of? I don't know. Said I'm not a musical theatre person in the least.
Okay, all right. Right. Can you actually say the lines from the very popular song from it?
So, very popular song from what?
Pirate of Penzance.
Do you mean, do I know I am the very model of a modern Major General? That's about all I know of it. I know the things from Animal to Vegetable and Mineral or something, but I know some of it. But
okay. I am the very modern Major General. I have information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. I know the kings of England and quite the fights of historical, from Marathon to Waterloo in order of categorical. I'm very well acquainted with the matters of mathematical. I understand both the simple and oh, for Christ's sake, how the hell did they learn this?
by rote, the same way you learn any song. There's also, it's, if you think about its pattern, it's if you music it's you learn the pattern and the rhythm, I would imagine, partly in it.
Like a song in the background, then yeah. But the thing is, when is he actually singing it, or is he actually talking it?
As far as I'm aware, Gilbert and Sullivan's all sung. As far as I'm aware, it's all, I said it's all sung. So I think Gilbert and Sullivan's an opera or operetta or whatever the heck it's called.
Okay. If we get copyright strike for this, I don't mind.
So who cares?
Yeah. But let me bring it up for a minute.
What are you going to subject me to now?
Okay. This is from Pirates of the Penzance, right? Please don't have a go at me, Colin. Okay? Just listen to the lines, what he's got to say, right? Okay, here we go.
Yes, he is a major general. Yes, I am a major I am the very model of a modern nature general. I've information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. I know the kings of England and I quote the fights historical from Marathon to Waterloo in order categorical. I am very well acquainted with matters mathematical. I understand equations both the simple and quadratical. About binomial theorems, I'm teeming with a lot of news. Lot of news.
Papa?
With many trivial facts about the square of the hypotenuse.
With many trivial facts about the square of the hypotenuse. Many trivial facts about the square of the hypotenuse. Many trivial facts about the square of the hypotenuse.
I am very good at integral and differential calculus. I know the scientific names of beings and animalculous. In short, in manners, vegetable, animal, and mineral. I am the very model of a modern nature general.
In short, in manners, vegetable, animal, and mineral. He is the very model of a modern nature general.
I know a mythic history, King Arthur's into paradox. I answer hard acrostics, I've a pretty taste for paradox. I quote in elegiacs all the crimes of Heliogabalus. In conics, I can form peculiarities, parabolas.
Hey!
I can tell and don't Raphael's of Gerardel's and Sophones. I know the protein chords from the frogs of Aristophanes, and I can hum a fugue of which I've heard the music's dinner for. Dinner for. And whistle all the airs from that infernal nonsense pinafore.
Whistle all the airs from that infernal nonsense pinafore. Whistle all the airs from that infernal nonsense pinafore. Whistle all the airs from that infernal nonsense pinafore.
Then I can write a Washington Babylonic cuneiform and give you every detail of corrected this uniform. In short, in manners, vegetable, animal, and mineral, I am the very model of a modern nature general.
In short, in manners, vegetable, animal, and mineral, he is the very model of a modern nature general.
In fact, when I know what is meant by mamelon and raveling, when I can tell it sight a Mauser rifle from a javelin, when such affairs as sorties and surprises I'm more wary at, and when I know precisely what is meant by commissariat, when I have learned what progress has been made in modern gunnery, when I know more of tactics than a novice in a nunnery, in short, when I've a smattering of elemental strategy. Strategy. Strategy, strategy. You'll say a better major general is never strategy.
You'll say a better major general is never strategy. You'll say a better major general is never strategy. You'll say a better major general is never strategy.
My military knowledge, though unpucky and adventuring, has only been brought down to the beginning of the century. But still in manners, vegetable, animal, and mineral, I am the very model of a modern nature general.
But still in manners, vegetable, animal, and mineral, he is the very model of a modern nature general.
Encore.
Not more.
I've knowledge in all areas, artistic or didactical, from things utilitarian to totally impractical. I know the dates of great events, both wonderful and sinister. I even know how short a time John Turner was Prime Minister. I memorized all principles, logistic and mechanical. In many ways, I am Encyclopedia Britannical. I've knowledge as gratuitous as how an ancient lute is played. Lute is played? Huh. So I'm always in demand whenever Trivial Pursuit is played.
That's interesting.
But one thing I don't understand is anything Shakespearean, except it's played in theatres and I get very weary. And but in most manifested to animal and mineral, I am the very model of a modern nature general. Well.
And there you go.
God, I didn't realise it was so long. I didn't realise Trivial Pursuit was that old as a game. Unless that either an updated version of it or that's or the game isn't.
Yeah.
The game as such.
Well, by rights, he was singing, right?
Correct. He was singing.
Right, but trying to say it so fast.
Yes.
Was it the early version of rap?
It's part of the idea of the song is that it's played quickly when he stops and sort of when he sort of breaks and repeats things for some reason, as if he doesn't know what the words are or something.
Yeah, but you said, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, because I didn't know that Trivial when he said about the last gasp is finally running down about being popular. Trivial Pursuit is played. And I didn't realise Trivial Pursuit was as old as Gilbert and Sullivan. I thought it was the game, but I suppose maybe the Trivial Pursuit box game is maybe just a formalised version of an older trivia game, I suppose. So maybe that's what how it came about.
Well, this is the thing. So we've gone from Wicked to Pirates of Penzance as our subjects tonight. But I know you don't sing, Colin, but that would be interesting if you try to sing that.
I wouldn't want to even try to sing it. I've enough trouble singing medieval Latin, never mind anything complicated as that.
How are you getting on with medieval Latin anyway?
I'd one of these days I might try to relearn Latin because it's different from the classical Roman Latin I learned at school. It's just a question of it's the thing is it's like things I can. It's like stuff the thing is you remember the words, but you don't have to know what they mean. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't give you a direct translation without looking them up of most of the chant and the rest and the stuff that we sing. Even I couldn't give you a direct translation even of something like Myriad which is Old English.
Yeah.
Without looking it up. You know, you can learn something in a foreign language without actually knowing what it means. You don't have to speak the language to learn, because you learn, you know, the words in the tune.
Yeah.
You don't have to understand. I mean, I would imagine throughout most of history, I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know. I wish we had someone like Teresa or even Father Middle or someone, but I would imagine that throughout most of history, when Catholic Mass was sung in Latin, I do not know if most of the people singing it would actually know what it meant. I wouldn't be able to speak Latin. They might have done. They might know what the actual mass is, or Church Latin means. I don't know. But it's. I mean, I say it's certainly something you don't need to. So you don't necessarily need to understand what you're singing. You don't need to understand what you're saying to speak lines, really. As long as you read them or learn them. Yeah, I mean, you could learn. I would have thought if you've got the capability to learn, you could learn whatever your capacity for learning is. If it's half a dozen lines, or you've got the kind of mind that will let you do an entire page or something, you can memorize it. You wouldn't necessarily know what it meant.
Yeah.
So you could learn. I mean, you probably could learn something as complicated as modern Major General, and perhaps not necessarily know what it's all meant because you're doing it quite quickly. It's a very fast song.
Well, the interesting was that he was coming out with,
Yeah, I mean, it sounded as if a lot of those were either obscure words or made up. No, I must admit, to be quite honest, was going that fast. Like I couldn't actually make out all of what he was saying, but it didn't help that the soundtrack was out of sync with the video.
It usually is. But anyway, all I can say is that it was interesting. That. I mean, operas and musicals go way, 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 way back.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, people, before cinema ever came about, people went to see a show.
Yeah.
Right?
This is correct.
And this goes so way back because it's like with Shakespeare's plays.
The Greeks had theatres and plays,
Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't done Shakespeare the musical.
Surprised what?
Shakespeare the musical. All these works rolled into one, giant musical.
Would be a very, very, very long thing.
Very, very long, yes, but more like you cut it down.
You should. You could, I suppose. Yeah. You have to. I mean, you would have to. I don't know. And again, I mean, because if you're learning, if you're doing something for film, you don't need to learn all the lines all the time. You just need to learn the lines you've got to use in that day.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're doing a play, you learn all your lines. Because but then you do them every day, so you help remember them.
Well, I was going to ask, have you ever seen Oliver?
I don't think so.
So you've never seen the 90s?
I might have seen clips of it. I don't remember ever having seen either the play. I'm not sure I've ever seen a musical play at theatre, and I don't think I'm not sure I've ever seen any of the any versions of the films.
Okay, because Ron Moody done a song.
Ron Moody was Fagin, yes.
Yes.
Wasn't Harry Seacombe in that film?
Yes, he
I
played.
It was the Beatle. Mark Lester was. My brain's completely switched. I've completely forgotten what the lead character's name is.
Well,
yeah, because Mark Lester was the main character. Jack something was the Artful Dodger.
Moody was in the actual musical play itself.
I think a lot of them probably were.
Yeah. But it's a song he did that really, it really chimes well. Because I'm reviewing the situation. Can a fellow be a billion all his life? All the trials and tribulations.
I
don't get myself a wife.
I remember we have. I'm sure when I was a kid, we had. I think we had the LP for that.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's come to singles because I remember thinking. I remember think Consider Yourself, and I thought it was something about an elf called Considious.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Considious Elf. When I famously misheard lyrics and the rest of it.
Mm. Well, the interesting thing about the reviewing the situation is that it starts off slow, then it reaches a high peak, right? So it gets faster and faster and faster, and then it goes back down again. And then he's just talking to himself, and then he goes up and up and up and up. So it's like a song that goes fast.
You think something like, I mean, I've not, I might have seen. I think I've seen Fiddler on the Roof, the film. I'm thinking of similar some things like Fiddler on the Roof has got some things like that where you go, I don't know. It almost seems to be a rather Jewish, or at least gosh, my brain's crashing tonight. What's the not Jewish thing? Combination of Hebrew and Arabic, Hebrew and German.
When you need him.
Yeah, where's the rabbi when I need him? No, where's my brain when I need it? Yiddish, where they start off quite slow and then they get. I mean, you think even things like if you see films of Greek or Jewish wedding dance, and they start quite slow music and then they get faster, and then they slow back down again. It's I suppose it's a type of almost narrative storytelling, isn't it? Song is that you've got to pace up. So sometimes you start. Sometimes the song is the same pace, sometimes they get faster and slower.
Yeah.
Probably music gets faster and slow as well, I think.
You remember watching the film Telly Savalas, Elliot Gould, Roger Moore, Escape to Athena?
I'm not sure. I know the film. I think I've seen it.
Right. There's a certain sequence at the end where they just defeat the Germans and they're having a dance in the town square.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's Greek music, right?
Yeah, it is.
But it starts off slow and it's faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
So you're saying about the Yiddish, but the Greeks did the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. I said. I mean, the one that first came to mind was things like the Abadagita or something like that. It starts slowly and then it speeds up. But then I thought, I'm thinking about that. But then that also, so that's what I was thinking, that one from Fiddler on the Roof, or If I Were a Rich Man. That again, it slows up. Yeah. But then, yes, as you said, the music, the dancing and the rest, it was very much also Greek.
Yeah. Although
I hadn't clocked until I was listening to again. There was a period of history when the ancient Hebrews, Israelites, were very much influenced by the Greeks before the Romans came in. So there was there was a lot of Greek of at least 3,000 years ago, Greekish influence in Hellenic, I should say, rather than Greek, because it was a Hellenic civilization influence on pre-Roman Judea and Israelites. So not entirely perhaps surprising that some of that stayed through in the music.
There is a rabbi when you need him.
Probably in bed because up past 11. It's time.
Oh, anyway, back to Oliver. I'm always going to have a soft spot for that film.
Who played Nancy in that?
Ah, damn it!
I can't remember.
She's not well known. I think that's like a one-off film.
Because I'm thinking Raquel Welch, but I know why I'm thinking Raquel Welch. No, I know why I'm thinking Raquel Welch. Because Mark Lester. I'm thinking of Mark Lester in the not the Three Musketeers, in the Prince and the Pauper, which I have seen, which did have Oliver Reed and Raquel Welch.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if Oliver Reed ever did Oliver, but that's I know that's why I'm thinking older female.
Shani Wallace.
Oh, right. I don't know. As you said, not a name I know, but
the thing is, she didn't. Well, she's 91 years old. Bloody hell! But she never. How can I put it? She will always forever be remembered for all of that. But I think that was a one-hit wonder.
Oh, possibly. I mean, there's a few. Look, there's a few.
Because how can I put this? She gave a very powerful performance through the entire film, Yeah. And she was like the foil to Bill Sykes. But what Bill Sykes did to her in the end was, well, I can't really say, but but then you find out Bulldog or Bullseye, is it? Betrays him.
Can't remember. I generally don't remember.
It is an absolute classic. It is an absolute classic.
Oh, it is, yeah. I got all that.
Rewatch, Colin. But I know it won't fascinate you anyway. You have your particular taste, don't you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not that into. I'm not particularly bothered. I said I remember. I was going to say it's not something I have a hankering. There are very few things I've watched I would necessarily rewatch. Having said that, but then there are some things I'll watch and I'll watch again and I'll watch again. So, it's an odd. But no, I mean, as I said, I'm not. I've never been a great. I mean, I've seen the occasional musical movie. I don't think I've ever seen a musical at the theatre other than probably Panto when I was a kid.
They adapted the Charles Dickens novel into a musical. But Ron Moody will be forever Fagin. No? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it had a cut. Yeah, no, it had a cut. Yeah. I mean, if that's what you remember, well, that's it's like, I mean, people, it's like you remember people for what you remember them for. I mean, Neil Patrick Harris. I know who Neil Patrick Harris is, but I don't remember him from How I Met Your Mother. Well, I did see a few episodes of that. I don't think I ever saw Doogie Howser. I'm aware that he was in Doogie Howser. I know he's got to be, but for me, he's always going to be Carl.
Yeah, Starship Troopers.
Well, no, because that's the role I remember. Because
I know. I know.
Whereas I remember Denise Richards.
Here we go.
From Starship Troopers, but I remember her also from in whichever the Bond films was. Some people remember for some roles and some people remember for others.
Right. Okay, here's one for you. Starship Troopers is a musical.
That will be Starship Troopers.
I lost my heart to a Starship Trooper.
No, that was Sarah Brightman, different type of Starship Trooper. That was Sarah Brightman and Hot Gossip. Thank you. I was trying to remember the other day what the other group was before or after Pants People.
Oh, don't tell me you're watching Pants People, would you?
No, I was just trying to. I can't remember what, but I was trying to remember why, because I remember Pound to People from Top. I was thinking, I know they weren't the only ones, but because Hot Gossip was the other. Was the other one I think they did that I remember from, but I can't think what they were. No, they actually do have. They literally have a Starship Troopers the movie, the musical, in Starship Troopers 3. They literally have a character who is doing a musical. But Starship Troopers 2 and 3 aren't particularly good films. I've got some interesting ideas in them, but they're not the best movies ever made.
Well, anyway, back to musicals. Because the one who created Oliver the Musical was Lionel Bart.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, he done a lot.
Yeah, so that's why it doesn't surprise me. I know the name. I know he was a musical creator. I suppose is that the right word? I don't know. Writer of musicals, or writer of lyrics, or writer of music. I know that I know he was very big in the musical industry.
Oh, mate, I wouldn't mind going to see Oliver live on stage. I know Rowan Atkinson was in one production at one time, playing Vader.
Wow.
Yep. All right, well. Well, that's the thing about musicals. So that's our subject of tonight is musicals.
Seems like it. Well, some of them can have some quite catchy tunes.
Yeah. Well, I know one musical, but is it really a musical or a horror show? And that's Rocky Horror.
Can it be both? I mean, there's a lot.
It's kind of both.
Well, I mean, I think. Excuse me. Rocky Horror Picture Show isn't either or both. It's an experience on its own, isn't it? Because it's one of those ones where they try to, or where the audience is encouraged to join in, and they tend to get a lot of repeat audiences in the rest. I understand, and they get a lot of audience coming.
Yeah.
Coming, the rest of it. So it's I think it's a music. I would say it's probably classed as a musical, but because it's got singing and talking in it.
Yeah. And a great tune that I don't know if it reached the charts was Let's Do the Time Warp Again.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely interesting where you've got Charles Gray doing certain sections, and he goes, it's just a jump to the left, put your hands on your hips, and he's got like a
not the kind of
holder in his mouth and the pointer where he's demonstrating how you do the time warp.
I was going to say, not the kind
and then later on he takes part through the song.
Not the kind of act you normally associate with that, I must admit, Charles Gray, but then again,
well, Charles Gray was a legend anyway.
I'm saying it goes to show he's got
he's got what you call a sense of humour.
Yeah, well, he's got the talent to do it. It doesn't.
Yeah, but because he's the narrator through the entire story.
Oh, is he? Oh.
Yeah. He's just telling the story of Rocky Horror. And then he took part in the follow-up, which wasn't that good, which was Shock Treatment.
I've heard of that, I think.
Yep, I could sing songs from Shock Treatment, but I don't want to ruin your ears.
I said never seen it, so I wouldn't recognise them anyway.
Okay. Back to Pirates of Penzance for a minute. I'm going to
Please
show
tell me.
you.
Oh, please don't tell me that yet you've done 5 minutes of tedium.
No. Family Guy done a real good wind up here. We won't get demonetized because it's only a short clip. Hold on. Here we go. Right. It's what Peter Griffin comes up with.
Magic general, the magic mineral, the magic rhetorical magic with the eggs on top.
Oh, yeah. He's kept the essence of it. The fact that most of it, you go, what the fuck is he singing about? I know he's so often he get a word
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But, well, anyway, I think we should wrap up, Colin, because, it's not, how can I be, it's not really a massive show tonight, is it?
No, I think no one.
Well, everyone would be back on the 3rd of March anyway. But in 2 weeks on Monday night, I'm going to be talking about a Beatles album. But it's not any kind of Beatles album. It's more like a compilation album. And it's a fantastic listen. So look if you can find it online, look out for the album Love by the Beatles, because it's taken all their Beatles music and mashed them together in a way. It was cleverly done.
Oh, good.
Yeah, cleverly done. Anyway, Colin, anything coming up for you?
Not really. We'll be making the odd appearance around the internet here and there, but
well, you'll find Colin out in YouTube land somewhere anyway.
Yeah.
Me, I'm hoping to make a major announcement next month.
Yeah.
Now, I can't really say at the moment. All I can say is that it's in this envelope. But I don't want to show you. I was hoping to have an audience tonight to show you. But
It's the Oscar nomination.
Hmm?
It's the Oscar nominations.
Yeah. And Wicked's not on it. Anyway, right, so time to wrap up, Colin.
Definitely, I think. Might as well.
Yeah. So everyone, thank you for watching this as a catch-up. So don't forget to please like, share, and subscribe. And
What he said.
really need to up the ante on the what do you call it with YouTube? I've forgotten what you call it now. But anyway, everyone have a fun month. I'll see you on the 17th to talk about a Beatles album. And see you soon. Let's end the show, Colin.
Bye, folks.
Bye.